So today, I'm wanting to talk to you about post-traumatic growth, and that makes a change from talking about post-traumatic stress. We have heard a lot in recent times about post-traumatic stress, and it is a very real thing, and many people are suffering from post-traumatic stress without actually realizing it. But today, I want to focus on post-traumatic growth. So, what is it? What is post-traumatic growth? Well, it's a term coined by psychologist Richard Tedeschi. I think that's how to pronounce his name, and Lawrence Colquhoun, and they both describe the positive changes that can come from facing, not just facing, but actually overcoming trauma. And, sometimes people think I'm talking about resilience here. I'm not talking about resilience, which is about bouncing back and, becoming functional again. No, post-traumatic growth is about bouncing forward. It's about becoming stronger and more self-actualized because of what you've been through. So actually, you're more than what you were before you had the traumatic experience. So there's been a growing amount of study and research done on this topic in recent years, and studies show that many survivors of abuse um, experience profound growth in five key areas. One is they realize they have a new inner strength, realize that they're far stronger than they ever knew. And that certainly was the case in my life, having what I experienced as a traumatic relationship. Now, people might think because on these videos that I talk about that or refer back to it, it was over 30 years ago. I am no longer a victim of it. People think, oh, you're still being a victim. No, I'm not. I went back into education. I learned a lot. I grew a lot. I formed deeper, better, healthier relationships. I learned to distinguish between what was healthy, what wasn't healthy, what was life enhancing, what wasn't. I learned about the new possibilities in life. And I discovered new passions. I discovered the great love of learning that I had, and the great love of passing it on and sharing my strength and hope and optimism and my greater appreciation for life. So since then, I've been in a very happy relationship for nearly 30 years, and it gets better and better all the time. So I find joy in simple things. I have a lovely home that I've created, and I feel really, um, a sense of accomplishment that I transcended a fairly traumatic period in my life. In fact, I transcended a number of traumatic periods in my life, and it got a lot of existential growth, connecting with a much deeper sense of meaning. So right now, those of you watching this, you may not be feeling strong, and you might feel exhausted, lost, broken, helpless, powerless, hopeless, all of those things. And that is, you don't have to stay there, but healing's not just a recovering from what happened to you. It's about transforming the pain of it, transmuting the experience into power. Um, so firstly, how do you apply post-traumatic growth to your journey? How do you get that? Well, you rebuild your strength, and one of the hardest things about being in an abusive relationship is it strips you of your confidence. It strips you of any sense of yeah, confidence in yourself. You just doubt yourself all the time. You doubt your own judgment because you can see that you made a lot of mistakes, you got a lot of things wrong, and it leaves you feeling that you can't trust your own judgment. But I find that the person I was 30 years ago is not the person I am today. And I would say there was a lot of post-traumatic growth. One of them was in reclaiming my inner voice. And I would invite you now, those of you who are resonating with what I'm saying, I would invite you now to pause the video and write down 5 things that you've done in the past that required huge courage, intelligence, resilience, moving way beyond being a victim. You need to reconnect with the courage and strength and intelligence that you have and recognize if you moved out of a traumatic relationship, you survived something incredibly difficult. That's what I'm saying. And you have to give yourself credit for doing that. So if you set small, achievable goals, that helps to build your confidence in yourself. And I'll just share with you a number of other ways that you can develop the post-traumatic growth that's not just kind of um, surviving, but actually thriving. So an excellent book that you might want to look at is Ariel Swartz's book, uh, the Post-Traumatic Growth Guidebook. And she says healing from trauma is not about going back to who you were before. It's about discovering who you are now in this new chapter of life. And abuse often teaches us to normalize dysfunction, making it difficult to trust others or even to trust yourself, as I've just said, when forming new relationships. And you might feel afraid, understandably, of being hurt again or unsure of what a healthy relationship even looks like. I would say it took me nearly 10 years to recover um, some confidence and sense of truly moving forward and not being defensive and holding back, and still uh, suffering from post-traumatic stress. So what I would say, the ways to apply post-traumatic growth is to educate yourself about what's healthy and what's unhealthy. And you'll find lots of blog posts, on my website um, to help you to sort that out. Learn and practice and decide to learn to trust yourself. You historically got gaslighted into doubting yourself, and no, you can build confidence and trust. But I would say do that by connecting with the Rebuild Your Life group, for example, is a group of people who've been where you've been. They don't bask in their victimhood. In fact, the whole idea of it is moving beyond being a victim. It's not a group of victims, it's a group for people who, some may still be living in it, but they're not living as victims. Some of them, there are some quite elderly people in that group who actually practice courage and every day. Many have moved out and have rebuilt other lives, and have, had therapy, and they've got close friends and they've got a life. They're maintaining a life. They're not just victims. So take time before entering other romantic relationships and strengthen the relationship with yourself first. And another way educating yourself is like books like Jim Rendon's The New Science of Post-Traumatic Growth. He says people who grow the most from trauma are those who use their experience to redefine what truly matters in their relationships and their life. And I would say that's one of the things that I did. I did a lot of journaling, and I threw myself into education. And I definitely did redefine what mattered. Um, because, you know, abuse keeps you trapped in fear and being small and feeling like not enough and limiting what you believe is possible for you. And you have to allow yourself to dream again. That's another big thing. You know, ask yourself, what do I want? And you can start with small things, build up your confidence, but try some new experience. Do sign up for a class. I would recommend getting into education. Travel somewhere new. I have traveled the world in the last 30 years. You know, I've been to Machu Picchu, Angkor Wat, the Valley of the Kings. You know, I've gone all around Asia and all around Europe, and I love it. I just love seeing new places and having dreams in the future. Just in the next few months, I have a trip to California, a trip to Corfu, a trip to France, all arranged. This is not about post-traumatic growth, is moving beyond being a victim. It's living a full, wholesome, fulfilled life. And growth doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from facing it, processing it, and then using it to propel yourself into new opportunities. It's not about hardening your heart and staying stuck, afraid to expand and grow and develop and step out into life. Your past doesn't have to define your future. Your story is still being written. So I have developed, and I encourage you to develop a deep appreciation for life. Practice mindfulness, take moments to breathe and be present. Keep a gratitude journal. I have multitude journals. I write daily, morning and evening, and what I'm grateful for every day, and celebrate small victories. Have an attitude of gratitude. People who engage in gratitude and meaning making tend to heal faster and experience more growth. Finding meaning in the journey. You know, many of you will be familiar with Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. He says, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And that's what I encourage you to do, to move beyond any sense of, look what happened to me. You can look to share your strength and hope with others, um, and thrive. So leaving an abusive relationship isn't just an ending, it's the beginning of a transformation, or it can be the beginning of a transformation, because you're not broken. You can use the experience to propel yourself into, you know, in the face of suffering. Life brings suffering. It comes to all of us. My first suffering was as an infant. My mother left me at a few weeks old, and that left an indelible imprint on my heart and soul, and post-traumatic stress. But we all deserve love, we deserve peace, we deserve joy, and most importantly, we deserve to thrive and to share that ease and joy and abundance with others. So I would encourage you to stop and consider, what small step can you take today towards your own post-traumatic growth? And I'd love it if you share your thoughts and share your comments below, so you can share it with other people who are looking to develop post-traumatic growth. So I'd love to hear from you. So thanks for now. If you find this helpful or useful or interesting, don't forget to click like and click subscribe. Bye for now.